Gunlance has always been an interesting weapon. Some hunters sees it as a brain-dead weapon, some sees it as a baby weapon, and others sees it as one of the most demanding weapons to truly master. A few weeks ago, at the time of this recording, I asked the community directly through a poll, is Gunlance easy to pick up but hard to master? And over 500 of you voted. Seriously, thank you very much for taking the time to vote and for sharing your opinions and viewpoints in the comments. Most of you believe that while Gunlance is welcoming at the start, true mastery is where things get serious. So in this video, instead of just talking through the poll, I want to answer the bigger question behind it. What actually makes Gunlance so demanding to use and to master? Let's dive in. Before we dive in, I just want to put this out there. Everything in this video is based on my own experience with Gunlance, my personal research, and the opinions and viewpoints shared in the poll. This isn't me saying this is the only right way to understand Gunlance mastery or how to play Gunlance. Different hunters learn differently, different playstyles work for different people, and that's part of what makes this weapon and this community so special. So if your experience is different from mine, that's totally valid, and I genuinely love to hear your thoughts in the comments as well. The first thing that makes Gunlance demanding to pick up and especially to master is the sheer number of combos and moves you need to understand to really use the weapon properly. And to be honest, this is something even I overlooked at first. It wasn't until I started reading through the opinions and comments on the poll that I fully realized just how daunting it can feel for new players to learn all the combos, all the transitions, and the commitment that comes with every Gunlance action. This is exactly why learning Gunlance can feel so demanding early on. You are not just really learning one type of attack, you're basically learning how to melee, how to shell, how to reload, how to slam loop, how to do your burst fire, and just how hard each action commits you to its animation. And to help with that learning curve, I do have a Gunlance combo quick guide on the channel, as well as a combo playstyle video for anyone who wants to dip their toes into how Gunlance actually flows in a hunt. Those two videos are a really good starting point if learning Gunlance combos can feel overwhelming at first, but it is a start. To really summarize what I talk about in those two videos, in most cases, especially for lower tiered monsters like Chadacabra or Chimetries, you can actually hunt those monsters with relatively little trouble if you're just spamming the Wyvern Stake full blast combo. And at that stage of the game, that playstyle works. You're learning the weapon, the monsters are more forgiving, and you're not being punished as hard for heavy commitment. But as you move into more difficult hunts against monsters like Gore, Steve, or Laggy, you're very quickly realize that if you keep spamming Wyvern full blast all the time, you're going to cart a lot. That's when I would strongly recommend transitioning into burst fire combo loop once you fully understand how Wyvern Stake full blast works. The big strength of the burst fire loop is that it can be used off your perfect guard, which means you'll increase your survivability while at the same time maintaining or even increasing your damage output instead of constantly hard committing to Wyvern Stake full blast. Another playstyle you can also pick up is charge shell. This style is especially useful for getting your Wyvernfire back much more quickly, and it also adds another layer of control and tempo to your gameplay. And of course, there's absolutely nothing wrong if you prefer to focus on just one playstyle, but if your goal is to truly master Gunlance, then learning how to weave all these playstyles together is what really takes your gameplay to the next level. Because once you're using the entire toolkit, you're no longer just follow one flowchart, you're giving yourself multiple options to make the best possible play for each specific situation. And this is mostly the main reason why Gunlance isn't that hard to pick up, but it is truly hard to master, because in order to really master Gunlance, you have to understand and fully utilize the entire moveset and toolkit that the weapon offers. And the more you use the weapon, the more Gunlance will start to feel natural over time as that experience slowly builds. The next thing that makes Gunlance truly demanding to master is the number of hidden mechanics that Capcom doesn't really explain or showcase very well. Most of these are either learned through other content creators or through your own experimentation over time, and honestly, there are quite a few hidden mechanics that I think a lot of aspiring Gunlancers either don't realize or simply don't know about at all. For example, did you know that you can actually fire off faster Wyvernfire with or without Artillery 3 equipped? If you answer certain combos directly into Wyvernfire, the firing of that Wyvernfire is usually much faster than normal. There's a video on my channel that goes much deeper into this, but this is one of those mechanics that you would likely never discover unless someone told you or you tested it yourself. Another big hidden mechanic is that most, if not all, of your reloads actually behave as a guard. If you time your reloads correctly, there's a small window where your shield will glow white, and during that window, the reload itself can guard incoming attacks. And if you time it perfectly, that can even lead to a perfect guard. The way I personally do this is by holding guard and then tapping my shell button right as the monster's attack is about to hit me. You can do this with quick reloads or full reloads, and it also helps you trigger offensive guard, making your follow-up hits even stronger. Another hidden interaction is with charge shelling. Not only is it a valid playstyle, but it also speeds up your Wyvernfire recovery, which honestly surprised me because not many Gunlancers seems to know this either. These are just a few examples of hidden mechanics that Capcom doesn't really do a good job of teaching in-game, but at the same time, I actually think this is a smaller issue that it seems, because it creates a sense of community and achievements where aspiring Gunlancers help each other, share discoveries, and experiment together to figure things out. And this is also why I think mastering Gunlance can feel so daunting, not because the weapon is bad, but because the number of mechanics you need to understand is just massive. That said, I also believe this is true for every weapon in the game. If your goal is to truly master any weapon, you have to understand the deeper mechanics behind it, and Gunlance is no different. Moving on to positioning and evading. It's pretty well known that hunters who aren't very confident with evading often default to using a shielded weapon like Gunlance. To be honest, from the comments and feedbacks I received so far, there is some truth to that. Gunlance has a big shield, and I'm pretty sure every Gunlance's first instinct is to block everything with it. And don't get me wrong, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But there are definitely situations where you don't actually want to rely on guarding. The best example would be monsters like Gore, Laggy, and Omega Planetes. Some of their attacks have so much knockback that even with guard 3 and guard up 3 on your build, you can still get pushed into a really unfavorable positions or forced into repeated guarding, which can quickly lead into a card. This is where incorporating evading into your rotations becomes extremely important. Evading lets you increase your survivability, maintaining your aggression, and avoid taking unnecessary chip damage if the attack can be avoided in the first place. Now, Gunlance hops, honestly, they're not particularly great. They only cover a small amount of distance no matter what direction you hop, except for the back hop. The back hop is by far one of the best evasion tools that Gunlance has. It covers a large amount of distance and lets you avoid certain monsters' attack much more safely than just guarding. And that's exactly why I run Evade Extender 2 on every single one of my Gunlance build on the channel. The other hops on their own aren't as strong, but if you also have a good amount of evade window, those hops suddenly becomes lifesavers, and your back hop becomes even better. I strongly recommend using Gunlance back hop, not just to avoid monsters' attack, but also to reposition and even close the distance back onto the monster. I also recently learned that you can chain long back hops back to back, letting you cover a huge amount of ground in a very short time, which is honestly really good. Of course, the main limitation with all of this is the stamina, and managing the stamina properly becomes part of mastering Gunlance's movement and survival. Right now, we're still talking about evading, which directly correlates to positioning as well. As we all know, Wormstick, Full Blast, and Wyvernfire are two of the most highly committed moves that Gunlance has. Both of these moves will lock you in place to unload devastating damage onto the monster, and because of that, they're also extremely risky. Most of the time when players get hit during Gunlance combos, it's during these two moves. Wyvernfire in particular has that long recovery animation, which is clearly a balancing choice by Capcom, especially now that we can fire 2 Wyvernfires in one go. And once you start firing Wyvernfire, you cannot cancel it. That's exactly why positioning becomes everything. By taking advantage of a monster's moveset, especially attacks with blind spots or long recovery, you can place yourself between their attacks and fire out Wyvernfire safely instead of trading hits. Now, even though Wormstick Full Blast is also a highly committed attack, Capcom actually gave Gunlance 2 built-in safety tools to help you use it more safely. The first one is the micro positioning through moving shelling and moving wide sweep, which are the two combo starters for Wormstick Full Blast. These two moves allow you to adjust your positioning slightly before fully committing to the rest of the combo. You should be using this part of the combo to check whether your position is actually safe before you go all in on your most devastating damage. The second safety tool is something a lot of players don't even notice. Wormstick Full Blast actually has two guarding windows during the second phase of the attack, also known as multi-Wormstick Full Blast. Taking advantage of those guard timings does take practice because the timing is tight. But if you truly understand a monster's attack pattern and blind spots, those guard windows can save you mid-combo. That said, and this is my personal opinion, I don't recommend relying on the guard window on multi-Wormstick Full Blast unless you truly understand the monster's timing. It's handy knowledge, yes, but not something you should really depend on. This segment is quite a long one, so I apologize for it, but this is honestly one of the hardest aspects of Gunlance and a big reason why so many aspiring Gunlance find it difficult to truly master the weapon. Even for me, this is something I'm actively trying to improve and refine. It's not easy, but it can be done. And that's basically the aspects of what I think makes Gunlance hard to master, and to an extent hard to pick up as well. Gunlance isn't a weapon that you master overnight, and honestly I believe every single weapon is the same way, and that's exactly what makes the journey of mastering a weapon so rewarding. If you are an aspiring Gunlancer and you are struggling right now, that's completely normal. Even I'm still learning and refining things every single hunt. Mastery isn't about being perfect, it's about being one hunt better than your last one. A special thank you to my channel members. Your support truly means everything to me, and it's what drives me to keep creating the content you love. And another huge thank you to everyone who voted on the poll and shared your thoughts. This video truly wouldn't exist without you. If you found this breakdown helpful, consider giving the video a like, subscribe, and share it so it can reach more hunters who are trying to learn Gunlance. As always, hunters, courage and honor.